Welcome to the Epic Alchemy Podcast, episode 2. I'm your host, Jill Davenport. And today I want to talk about overcoming perfectionism to get started on something that you have been wanting to do or been dreaming about. And I'm just going to be honest with you about what's been going on with me. So I started this podcast and I recorded the episode 1 last week. And ever since then, my brain has been braining, and I am just watching myself find all these distractions before when I'm gonna record another podcast. And I'm just, I know it's happening, and I know that it's like, I don't really need to do this online shopping right now, right? So, but I'm doing it and I'm watching myself doing it. Like I'm like outside of myself watching it. I'm aware of it. And here I am, I'm recording another podcast. But I just want you to know that it's super normal. We all go through it. I think it's to some extent when we do something new that's outside of our comfort zone. And it's to be expected. And I've been doing things that are really like pushing my boundaries lately. It's been a lot of things kind of compounding. And so I think my brain has just been like, okay, wow, let's back it up and go back and be how we normally work, because our brains like to stay the same because it's safe. So um what we'll find is that when you start doing things that are new, that are outside of your comfort zone, you're being more visible, or you're putting out a new offer, or you're taking on more clients than you normally would, or you're just anything that's like, or you're, whatever, you're going out, putting yourself out more than you normally would. Our brains are going to tend to like push back or create resistance. But I want to say I did kind of see I thought that things would come up along the way, and I sort of tried to plan for them ahead of time. So what I did was, before I started this podcast, so I've actually been thinking about starting a podcast for years. I don't remember if I said that in episode 1, but and it was just like I was waiting for the right time, and like, oh, I have to have this in line, or it's not a good strategy for me right now, and I don't want to take on something that I have to keep going on. And I'm afraid I might not keep going, like all these things that I didn't want to get into, and I did, and if I was going to commit to it, then I wanted to be committed. And then it's like, well, I know it's going to take a long time if I want to really get it rolling, because podcasting or creating a YouTube channel or anything like that, that takes a long time to start to get traction. And so I've been putting it off for a long time. And the reason that I started this is actually not to, get a big following, to make money or anything like that, which is really helpful to know. And so I wrote it down because I didn't want to get sidetracked with forgetting what my goal was, because I have done things. So I did, I guess it was last year, I did 6 weeks of a video every day on Instagram, creating some kind of video on Instagram. And then I continued posting after that. After the 6 weeks is over, I continued posting every day for 90 days. And the reason that I started that was because I was helping people to feel more confident on camera, and I got challenged to do 6 weeks, because I had a program that was 6 weeks for confidence on camera, and it was like, what if you showed up every day on camera for 6 weeks? And so I was like, all right, let's do it. So I did it, and the reason that I did it was just to see what it would be like, see if I could do it. I knew I could do it, but to see what what would come of it in terms of how I would grow, how I would become a better video creator, how I would get over any blocks that come up around like perfectionism, and just getting better at speaking and creating content like in a fast way and not overthinking it. So those were my goals with that. And also, like, this aside bonus was that I could talk about it, and it gave me something to talk about. And also it was like pressing my boundaries. But along the way, while I was doing that, I got kind of lost sight a little bit of the reason that I started, because I noticed that as I was creating more videos, my views were going down. And so I was looking at the metrics and I noticed my views were going down. I noticed I was getting less interactions with people because I have several theories and probably like actual reasons for why that is. But I started to get attached to that instead of the original reason why I started doing it in the first place, which had nothing to do with how many responses I got, how many views I got, anything like that. Um, so for this podcast, I made a note of all the reasons that I was starting this podcast, and none of it has anything to do with how many people listen, like any metrics uh, at all. So I didn't want to forget that. And I'll just tell you what my reasons are. So I'll name a few. So first of all, it's just to I have them written down on a piece of paper here. Go through and model doing things imperfectly and just starting, because I help my clients with that. And I was thinking, what's something that I could do? This was something that was like, it kind of just like tapped on my shoulder. It was like, hey, what if you just started a podcast, just to do something imperfectly and model doing that and being uncomfortable and seeing where it goes and seeing how that feels, and also like putting myself out there and pushing my boundaries as well as I tell, as I invite other people to do. I want to do it too because it's fun. It's really fun to kind of like push past those limitations, I'll say, not boundaries, but it is in a way a boundary, but it's like different than, creating boundaries and whatever. But it's like a limitation that you have of like, this is how big I can go, this is how far I can go, whatever. And so like moving past that limitation that you have, that and uh opening up into, bigger realms. And then practicing speaking out loud, because I don't do a lot of long form content. And I know the more that I speak, the better I'll get at speaking and just speaking on the fly. Another thing is practice sharing my thoughts. And another thing is, I have no follow up on that. Funny enough. And then practice engaging my audience and practice different ways of speaking, whether I want to speak like to one person, like I'm speaking to you right now, or if I want to speak to all of you, and just practicing the different ways, playing with the different ways to speak to one or many. And another thing is having something to share regularly, because I will go through phases of what I want to share, and or what I like, if I have something to share, and then sometimes I'll be like, I got nothing. And I'm much better at speaking than I am at writing. It's much more fun for me. So now I have something that I can share with my email list, or, on social media or whatever, and I'll just have things that I can pull from. So it's actually helping me to do what I was already doing in a better way. So it's like a support for that. Instead of creating another thing to do, it's sort of like feeding into something that I need to do anyway and making it easier. So that's a reason why I love it, because of that. It's not like, because I was always thinking, oh, it's another plate that I'm going to have to spin, but this one's actually helping me spin the plates that I'm already spinning. So it's like a little engine. And then another thing is building a body of work that I can share. So I've often thought about things that I create, like videos and blog posts, or social media to some extent, but it kind of just disappears and I kind of lose track of it. Just creating a body of work that I can always share and look back on. And that's always fun to look back on the stuff that you create. Like I'll sometimes find old posts of mine and I'm like, that was good advice. I should listen to that. Because my past self was pretty smart, actually. Like, we talk about our future self, but actually, our past self is also very wise. And then knowing how, so that I can help other people to do it and to just get started with it. So those are my reasons for starting this podcast, and they have nothing to do with any like metrics or anything like that. So I wanted to share that with you because I think when we're starting something new or wanting to add something onto something that we're already doing, we can get caught in perfectionism, and that can look like I want to have all my ducks in the row before I start it. I want it to be really good when I get out the gate and know exactly what I'm going to do with it, and I have plans and I have all these models and everything like that, and great, but a lot of times that can stop us from getting started, and it can set you back for years. Like if you I think it's great to dream big. I do, and I'm actually gonna talk about that in another podcast, but I wanted to talk about this first because I think if you bring that big too soon, like, it's great to dream big and put it out there, but if you make it too soon, then it can stop you from getting started because you want it to be great when you start, and then you never get started. Or it can look like, starting a lot of different things and not actually launching any of them and just going ping-ponging back and forth, like, "Let me fix this, let me do this, let me do this one." And you wanna have this whole artillery of things that you're gonna release, and it takes years, and then you don't get the momentum because you're not releasing anything. If you have a lot of things that you wanna do, just seeing which one feels the most exciting and just moving forward on that, getting the momentum from that, and then moving on to the next and, proceeding that way. Another thing to help with perfectionism and just getting started is, the excitement of starting something and then seeing it grow. Like, if you bring it out and it's amazing, then where are you gonna go from there? It's a lot of pressure, first of all, to keep it up. And second of all, yeah, like, you don't know where it's gonna go. Like, you never know what's gonna happen once you release something. You don't. And I have clients who have started something, um, like, they were wanting to do something and they were like, "Oh, I haven't, I can't do it," or I don't know where to start or whatever, and, um, they think it's gonna be one thing, and then it ends up being something, like, way better than they thought it was gonna be, but they would have never known that if they didn't get started and just see where it led. And a lot of times, what can hold you back is thinking like, "It's gotta do something, gotta do this thing for me." And so if you can find a reason to start something th and really put no pressure on it, it's so much easier to get started and keep going because you might have a thought like, "Oh, I need to be able to monetize this." And, that may be true for some things, but it could be holding you back thinking you need to monetize something when you really don't know where it's gonna go. And by thinking, I need to monetize it, it can really limit what you, allow yourself to start, especially with, like, creative things or things you've never tried before. Getting stuck on the monetization part can make you think too small because 'cause you're gonna think, "What's the safe bet?" What's the thing that I already know can make money? And you don't try anything else. And I have to tell you, when you take away that and just allow the freedom and allow yourself to go after what you really want to do and what you're enjoying doing and the energy and the life that you bring to that and the curiosity and the fun, you may end up making more money than you have ever made. So yeah, that does happen. So, when you let go of that monetization or you let go of the, like, it's gotta perform well, it's gotta do these things, then, and find other reasons, like I was saying, like, what other reasons can you do? Maybe it's fun, maybe you just wanna see what happens, maybe you're just curious to see, and let that be your starting place, and let that be a way for you to just explore what you really wanna do, because oftentimes what we think we wanna do ends up turning into something else completely, but you have to take those first steps to figure out where that other thing is. Like, you might be thinking, you wanna do, like, you wanna start a YouTube channel, and then you figure out that you actually want to, start a company. I don't know, I'm just making I'm just making it up. I'm trying to, like, keep my examples, vague, but, like, you don't know what is going to come of that. And you don't know what ideas you're going to get from taking action and from the experience that you're getting from just getting started and trying things. So I want to invite you to just start and do it imperfectly. And when you see yourself avoiding it. So here's what came up with for me, like for the last several days, as I have spaced out the time between my episodes, there's been a like, oh, what am I going to talk about? Like not even looking at my notes, but being like, oh, and what the thought of was like thinking too much. I was getting too far ahead of myself. I started getting too far ahead of myself. I was like, oh, what if, like it's got to be really good? And it's like, no, that's why you started it so that it could be not really good and you can just get started and grow because that's how everything really has to start. So when you find yourself waiting till you have the perfect thing, just know that it's so much more fun to just start and let it be messy. And everybody starts badly. Everybody starts, where they are and grows from there. And you're never going to get better if you don't start. So let's be the day that you start. And let this be the day that you create epic alchemy in your life by getting started, doing it messy, taking a risk, expanding your limitations, and just letting it be fun and see what happens, see what kind of magic comes up with you when you just take a risk and let go of perfectionism. All right. That's my episode for you today, and I will see you next time. Thanks for listening. Bye.